Hey, today I want to talk about, I've got a cheat sheet here. I want to talk about 8 things to go cheap on in the van life, or vehicle dwelling, or RV living. If you are looking to do things a little bit cheaper or have a very minimal budget, here's a few things that I've thought of that I go cheap on all the time. So let's go into it. Number 1 is paper products. Like toilet paper and paper towels. They're 50 cents at Walmart. So I just go get a 4-pack of toilet paper for 50 cents and a roll of paper towels. Number 2, silverware and plates. So a friend of mine uses only paper plates, and if he has the opportunity, he'll burn them after he's done, but he'll reuse paper plates. And he probably has like a pack of 50, and he's been working on that pack for a couple months now because he, like puts tortillas on them or wipes them off because they do have a little bit of a coating on the paper plates he has. But it's a great thing to use instead of trying to buy like an expensive camping kit of plates. And I don't know about you, I'm gonna wait for this wind to pass. I don't know about you, but I don't allow much glass or breakable things in my van because I drive off-road and I have to do quick stops sometimes, and I don't want things breaking. So I personally have a camp set of cups and plates, but I probably would have gone to the dollar store and bought plates and silverware there and just got plastic ones, and it would have worked just fine for me. Number 3 on my list of cheap things is souvenirs, and that's why this is my cheat sheet, but it also holds the souvenirs I get. So I do postcards. I have probably 200 postcards, and they're just of all the different places that I've gone to. So most recently I went to the Kitt Peak Observatory in Tucson, or near Tucson, and I picked up these postcards. Some of them I'll mail to friends, but I usually keep all the postcards. Another souvenir I usually get is magnets or stickers because they're usually on the cheaper end. Sometimes I did keychains in my travels, but so far since I've been living in a van, I've been doing postcards and occasionally stickers because of their price, and I love pictures and I love stickers just in general. I always have. The 4th thing that I go cheap on almost every time I buy it is gas. When I go into a town, I shop around a little bit before I select which gas station I go to, because some stations, they may promote having better gas, but for me, I don't have the luxury of buying expensive gas because I buy it so much. Food and gas are the top 2 things that I'm buying all the time, and so if I can go cheap on them, I try to. So I would encourage you to maybe get some sort of Gas Buddy app or something to that effect to help you shop out and find the best gas prices in town. And sometimes a neighboring town will have better prices. Truck stops on the outskirts of town can be more or less expensive. It just depends. So since I already mentioned it, number 5 is going to be food. I personally don't have any special kind of diet. I'm not allergic to anything. I just kind of eat whatever I can find, and pretty adaptable. I like to try new things all the time, and so if I'm in an area where wild rice burgers are the thing of the area, I'm going to eat that. Or if it's gumbo, or if it's key lime pie, I'm going to eat those things. So I will spend the extra money to go to a restaurant that sells that specialty food. But otherwise, my everyday, like breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I will try and go as cheap as possible. So like eggs and potatoes in the morning, eggs are usually like between $1 and $2 for a dozen, And then potatoes are like $2 for 5 pounds, and I can live off that. I get some ketchup or some salt, and I like to put curry spice in them, and it's great for me. I also, if I want to splurge a little bit, I'll get mushrooms and then saute some mushrooms in there and maybe an onion. But all these things are relatively cheap for, I could get up to maybe, with eggs, I can get 6 mornings out of that, and then potatoes much longer, mushrooms maybe just 3 or 4 meals out of that, because they go bad so quickly. So, and then for lunch, maybe mashed potatoes because they're easy to cook. And then dinner is usually rice, ramen with chicken or green beans. And all of these things, like chicken, I get canned, and it's $1 per can, the size that I get in the store that I go to. And then I'll get like a $1 rice maker that only needs water boiled, and then it takes like 7 minutes to simmer. And cans of beans and corn are 50 cents to like 75 cents. I always go to Walmart. I know not everybody agrees with Walmart, but I personally shop there because I don't have a huge budget. If I want to stay on the road for as long as possible, I have to cut my expenses wherever I can. So, all that being said, you can go cheap on food if you aren't too picky about what you eat. Number 6. Don't fall over. Number 6 is laundry. So laundry is something you have to do, whether it's once a month, once a week, whatever you need to do. Laundry is an expense, and you have to go to a laundromat unless you are super awesome and have a washer and dryer on board your vehicle. But in most cases, people don't. So there is, I'll talk about laundromats first. So what I do is I check the town, and if the town is big enough to have more than one laundromat, then that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to check the reviews, make sure that everything's, pretty good. If people are like, all the machines are broken all the time, it's like 25 cents and you only get 3 minutes on a dryer, I'm not going to go to a place like that. If I'm getting like 6 minutes on a dryer, that's really good. And a laundromat I just went to, it was $175 for a top-loading washer, and that's also really good. So that's close to $3 for my one load of laundry that I needed to do. And if you need to do like all your laundry, and I would still recommend going to a place like that, because then it's not $15 to do laundry, it's closer to like $8 or $10. And if some people like separate all their clothes and things like that, and it takes up more washers. So checking for the best price in town is good, and also just a place that has dependable machines, because you don't want to fill it up, put all the soap in there, and then the machine eats your quarters and doesn't start. They usually can get you your money back or whatever, but then that's annoying, to go change it. I had one time a washing machine wouldn't end the cycle. It just kept going, and so it still was filled with water, and I was like, I don't know how to fix it, I don't know what to do. But laundromats are good. So the other thing that you can try and do for laundry is buy a watertight bag. So they sell them for like rafting guides and people that do that kind of thing, so that they keep their valuables dry when they're out in water. But it works the other way, where it will keep water inside the bag. So if you put like all your dirty underwear and socks into this dry bag, and then fill it with some water and some detergent, and shake it around and do whatever, shake it, and then hang the clothes out to dry, that's another pretty inexpensive way. You can buy those bags. They can be like $15, $20, but in the long run, that'll be, God, in the long run, it's going to save you some money. So there's a couple ideas. Number 7 is showers. Everybody's got to take showers. Some people take it in their rigs because they have bathrooms. Some people get privacy shelters, and then they do a black shower bag that holds 5 gallons and it heats up in the sun, and they'll take showers that way. And those are that's a pretty inexpensive way. You buy the bag and you just need to supply your own water. But what I like to do is go to public places, whether it be gyms, YMCA, rec centers, parks, county parks, and state parks, and take showers that way. Or truck stops is another good one. And if you are in Parker, I've talked about the $2 shower you can get there at the county park. Here in Tucson, I just went to online and found some city rec centers that have $1.50 to $2 admission into their facilities, and they have showers in there. So I just took a $1.50 shower here in Tucson. Sometimes if you pay admission into a state park, you can go into their camping area and take a shower there. I've done that before, and there wasn't any parking, but there also wasn't any signs saying anything. Good ideas. Ugh. So, okay. The 8th and final tip that I have for you today is parking. Parking is something that you can get stuck with pretty easily for night parking, day parking in a city if you want to go check out the town. So what I have done is I try to never pay for camping at night. That is a huge expense if you start adding it up, even if it's $5 a night. $5 a night over a month, 5 times 30, I'm not going to do math, actually that's $150. You might say, well, that's a really cheap form of rent, but I don't have any, I'm not working a normal job, so I don't have $150 worth of income right now. So what I do is I do stealth parking residentially. I'll just go down a residential street in a, like the 2nd Avenue and 4th Street in a town, and just park in a spot where it's not in front of anybody's house particularly, or it's an open spot at the end of a block, and I camp there for the night, and it's free. Or I try Walmart's, Cracker Barrel. I stayed in a library parking lot a couple times. Where else? Someone has suggested airports and hospitals. Airports you usually have to pay, but yeah, there's a few different stealthy things you can do, and if you're in a smaller vehicle like an SUV or a car, you can get away with that pretty easily. My van, I have to be a little bit more creative, but I've still gotten away with quite a bit. Some towns have laws against it, and some towns don't. So it depends on where you are and how comfortable you feel. And day parking, if I want to go check out a downtown and I'm not wanting to stay there for the night or whatever, it's a little bit different form of parking, but I will use like some Main Street, and a few streets off of it you'll probably have to pay like meter parking, or if you go, they'll have like a whole parking lot dedicated to tourists. You have to pay $5 for the day. Sometimes it's worth it, I've done it before, but another thing to do is if you're willing to walk, just park residentially off, or go down and walk up to 10 blocks to the swap meet or the flea market or the farmer's market, whatever you're trying to go to, a museum, galleries, or you just want to walk downtown. If you're going to be walking all day anyways, might as well park where you don't have to pay and walk in. Those are my 8 things to go cheap on in the van life, or whatever vehicle you're living in. So I encourage you to leave a comment below things that you go cheap on, or things that you don't agree that I go cheap on. Just everybody needs help learning how to live in this lifestyle, and I hope that this gave you some good ideas. So have a good day. Bye.